Imagine sending your child to school in the morning, expecting them to return home safely later that day. But within seconds, a powerful explosion changes everything. A devastating strike hits near a school in Iran, leaving dozens of children and teachers dead. Images from the scene quickly spread across the internet, shocking people around the world. But what makes this story even more disturbing is the question that followed. Who was responsible for the strike? Some reports suggested that the missile used looked similar to a Tomahawk cruise missile, a weapon normally associated with the United States military. However, political leaders quickly began offering different explanations. Was it really a U.S. strike? Could it have been a tragic mistake during a military operation? Or is the truth far more complicated than what the public is being told? In today's video, we'll break down the facts, the claims, and the growing debate surrounding this tragic incident. The Middle East has long been a region of political tension and military conflict. Over the years, various countries have been involved in complex alliances, rivalries, and strategic operations. Recently, a shocking incident once again brought global attention to the region. Reports from Iranian media claimed that a strike near a school resulted in the deaths of more than 100 children, along with several teachers. The incident immediately sparked international concern and raised serious questions about how such a tragedy could happen. Soon after the news broke, analysts began studying video footage of the strike. Some experts suggested that the weapon used appeared similar to a Tomahawk cruise missile, a long-range precision weapon used by several Western military forces. However, determining exactly who launched the strike is far from simple. According to early reports, the explosion occurred close to an Iranian naval facility located near the school. Witnesses described hearing a loud incoming sound moments before the blast. Within seconds, the surrounding area was filled with smoke, debris, and panic. Emergency responders rushed to the scene while local hospitals began receiving injured civilians. Videos shared online appeared to show the moment of the strike, and analysts quickly began examining the footage frame by frame. Some military observers claimed the strike pattern and speed resembled that of a cruise missile. If that assessment is accurate, it could significantly narrow down the list of possible sources. But at this stage, experts warn that video alone cannot provide a final answer. Shortly after the incident, political leaders were asked about the strike and whether their countries had any involvement. Initial statements suggested that the situation was still under investigation. However, during public remarks, some comments raised further confusion. Questions were asked about the possibility that different countries might possess similar missile technology. Certain allied nations do operate cruise missiles like the Tomahawk. Many defense experts say that such systems are tightly controlled and not widely distributed. Because of this, analysts and journalists began pushing for clearer answers. Was the strike part of a larger military operation? Was it a mistake? Or could there be another explanation entirely? But here's where the story becomes even more complicated. As investigators and journalists continued analyzing the incident, another debate started to grow. Some experts argued that during wartime operations, identifying the exact source of a strike can take time. Military investigations often involve radar data, satellite imagery, and classified operational records. Others, however, believe that transparency is essential, especially when civilian lives are lost. So the real question now is not only what happened, but also how quickly the truth will be revealed. And the answer to that question could shape how the world views this incident. When incidents involving civilian casualties occur, defense departments typically launch detailed investigations. These investigations examine several key elements: the origin of the weapon, the intended military target, whether the strike followed operational protocols, whether civilians were accidentally harmed during the process. Investigators often review satellite images, missile tracking data, and communication logs from military units. Because of the complexity of modern warfare, these investigations can take weeks or even months before a final report is released. For now, Officials have stated that the situation is still being examined. One of the most tragic aspects of modern warfare is the risk faced by civilians. International humanitarian law states that military forces must avoid targeting civilian areas and must take precautions to minimize harm. However, conflicts often take place in densely populated regions where military facilities and civilian infrastructure are located close to one another. When strikes occur in such areas, the consequences can be devastating. The loss of children in particular has sparked outrage and sorrow across the world. Families, humanitarian organizations, and international observers are all demanding the same thing: a clear explanation of what really happened. This incident has also reignited a broader discussion about accountability during military operations. Supporters of transparency argue that governments should quickly share accurate information with the public whenever civilian casualties occur. Others believe that investigations must be allowed to proceed without political pressure so that the final conclusions are based entirely on evidence. Both perspectives highlight an important issue. Trust, public confidence in institutions often depends on whether people believe the truth will eventually come to light. The international community has reacted with concern to the reports of civilian casualties. Human rights organizations have called for a thorough and independent investigation into the strike. Some experts have suggested that global institutions could play a role in reviewing the evidence to ensure transparency. Meanwhile, analysts continue examining satellite images and video footage in an attempt to better understand what happened. However, until official findings are released, many questions remain unanswered. Beyond this single incident, the situation also highlights the complexity of modern conflicts. Today's wars are fought not only with advanced technology, but also in the information space. Videos, social media posts, and breaking news reports spread around the world within minutes. While this rapid flow of information helps people stay informed, it can also lead to confusion when facts are still being verified. This is why responsible reporting and careful investigation are so important. Only with accurate information can the world understand what truly happened. The strike near the Iranian school has left a painful mark on the global conversation about conflict and civilian safety. Lives were lost, families were devastated, and communities were shaken. But beyond the tragedy itself lies an urgent need for clarity. People around the world are asking a simple question: what really happened that day? As investigations continue, many hope that the final findings will provide the transparency and accountability that such a serious incident demands. Because in situations like this, truth is not just important, it is essential. If you found this breakdown helpful and want more clear explanations of global news stories, make sure to like this video. Also, share your thoughts in the comments below. You think investigations in cases like this should be made public? And if you want to stay updated on important international events, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss our next report.